In the summer of 1947, the small desert town of Roswell, New Mexico, was suddenly thrust into the global spotlight. Life in Roswell was usually quiet, centered around farming, ranching, and the nearby military base. But everything changed when a local rancher named Mac Brazel discovered something strange scattered across his land after a violent thunderstorm. At first glance, it looked like wreckage from some kind of crash, but this wasn't like any debris he had ever seen before. The material was thin yet incredibly strong, resembling metallic foil, but it couldn't be bent, dented, or even burned. Some pieces appeared to have strange symbols etched into them, markings that didn't resemble any known language. Brazel knew this wasn't ordinary. He gathered some of the debris and took it to the sheriff, who immediately contacted the Roswell Army Airfield. And that's when the story really began to take shape. On July 8, 1947, the military released a shocking press statement. They claimed they had recovered a flying disc from a nearby ranch. This was a bold admission, especially during a time when the world was still adjusting to the aftermath of World War II and the start of the Cold War. The newspapers ran with the headline, and for a brief moment, it seemed like the U.S. government was admitting that we were not alone. The idea that a spacecraft from another world had crash-landed in New Mexico electrified the public imagination. But just 24 hours later, the story changed. Suddenly, the Army retracted its original statement, insisting that the debris was nothing more than a weather balloon. The wreckage was quickly shipped away. The case was declared closed and the story was buried. At least, that was the official version. For the people of Roswell, the weather balloon explanation never quite added up. Eyewitnesses claimed the wreckage was unlike any material known to man. Rancher Mac Brazel, who first reported the debris, was reportedly detained by the military for several days. When he reappeared, he seemed unusually quiet and hesitant to talk, leading many to believe he had been pressured into silence. Other locals claimed they saw strange-looking bodies being carried away on stretchers under heavy guard. These figures were described as small, frail, and humanoid, with features that didn't quite look human. The military dismissed these reports, but the whispers never went away. As the decades passed, Roswell became the centerpiece of UFO conspiracy theories. What makes this story so enduring isn't just the crash itself, it's the secrecy that followed. Why would the government first admit to having a flying disc, only to retract the statement within a single day? Was it a mistake in communication, or was it a deliberate cover-up? Skeptics argue it was nothing more than confusion, but believers see it as proof that something extraordinary really did happen in Roswell that summer. In the 1980s, interest in Roswell exploded again when retired military officers began to break their silence. Some claimed they had been directly involved in transporting the wreckage. Others insisted they had seen alien bodies firsthand. These testimonies were consistent in their descriptions: strange metallic material that defied explanation, and small bodies unlike anything human. These accounts reignited the public's fascination, and Roswell transformed from a forgotten news story into a cultural phenomenon. Books, documentaries, TV shows, and movies all lean into the idea that Roswell was ground zero for alien contact, and that the U.S. government had been hiding the truth ever since. In response to growing pressure, the U.S. Air Force released two official reports in the 1990s. The first admitted that the debris was not from a standard weather balloon, but from Project Mogul, a classified program that used high-altitude balloons to detect Soviet nuclear tests. The second report tried to explain away the reports of alien bodies, claiming that eyewitnesses had actually seen crash test dummies drop from planes during later experiments and mistakenly connected them to the 1947 event. But these explanations only deepened the mystery. Locals argued that the materials they saw did not match anything related to Project Mogul, and their memories of unusual bodies were too vivid to be dismissed as dummies or imagination. The Roswell case raises deeper questions about government secrecy and human psychology. Why is the idea of a cover-up so compelling? Part of the answer lies in trust. In the years following World War II, the U.S. government had engaged in numerous secret programs, some of which were only revealed decades later. Projects like MKUltra, nuclear testing, and Cold War espionage proved that the government was capable of hiding major operations from the public. Against that backdrop, It's easy to understand why so many people believe that Roswell was part of a larger cover-up. Another reason Roswell endures is cultural fascination. The story taps into one of humanity's oldest questions. Are we alone in the universe? The possibility that aliens might have visited Earth and that the evidence is being hidden from us create a powerful mix of fear and wonder. It also sparks debate. Believers point to eyewitness accounts, the initial press release about a flying disc, and the unusual behavior of the military. Skeptics point to the lack of physical evidence, inconsistencies in testimonies, and the possibility of misremembering events decades later. The tension between belief and doubt keeps the story alive. Today, Roswell has become more than just a mystery. It's a brand, a legend, and a symbol. The town has embraced its alien heritage, with UFO museums, alien-themed shops, and festivals that draw thousands of tourists every year. For many, visiting Roswell isn't just about learning history. It's about experiencing the mystery firsthand. And yet, beneath the playful alien statues and souvenirs, the serious question remains. What really happened in Roswell in 1947? Even now, new layers are being added to the mystery. In recent years, the U.S. government has admitted that unidentified aerial phenomena, what we used to call UFOs, are real and unexplained. Pilots have recorded strange objects defying the laws of physics. The Pentagon has declassified videos showing crafts moving in ways no known aircraft can. These revelations have made many revisit the Roswell incident with fresh eyes. If the government admits there are objects they can't explain today, what does that mean about what they found in 1947? Ultimately, the Roswell crash is about more than aliens. It's about the limits of human knowledge, the tension between secrecy and transparency, and the way a single event can change the way a nation sees the world. Whether it was a weather balloon, a secret Cold War project, or an extraterrestrial spacecraft, Roswell represents our deepest hopes and fears about what lies beyond the stars. And maybe that's why, after more than 70 years, we're still talking about it. So, the next time you look up at the night sky, remember Roswell. Something fell out of the sky in 1947. The official story says weather balloon, but the people who were there tell a very different story. And maybe, just maybe, the truth is something far stranger, something they still don't want you to know.